maybe the baby was going to suffer more with her being alive and me being dead, because in as much as I can never ever replace her, but I had 2 more beautiful babies after that, you know.
Welcome back to Ownnarrativepodcast by myself, Promise Magunyani. This podcast is about marriage and family dynamics. And please know that this podcast episode is sponsored by Scent Studios. They're a lovely studio that are based in Edenvale. The prices are so affordable. Please come and check them out. Anyway, guys, today I'm sitting with a lady that I'm actually not supposed to sit across, according to everyone, especially my TikTok people. Today I'm speaking with Madam Speaker.
Yes, girl.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, my love?
Good. I'm actually so surprised that you're that short.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I said when I met you.
I actually want people, you know, I always say it, guys, I'm short. So when you see me in real life, expect a very short person.
You're so short. And I'm like, yeah. You came here with crushes. Can we speak about your leg?
Of course.
Yeah. Please tell me about your leg. What happened?
Yo, guys, you know me, I'm very adventurous, and I have this, you know, I'm an adrenaline junkie. Let me just start there. So this past weekend, I was having a camp, my usual camps that I have called Loving Yourself Back to Life, where I literally speak to women who need to love themselves back to life from whatever situation that they face in their lives. So usually on Saturdays, there's an activity which is like an adrenaline activity, which really gets you out of that comfort zone and makes you face your fears. You get what I'm saying? So this weekend, what we're doing was zip lining. So first line, second line, third line. I'm still not feeling, I'm basically complaining there the whole time. I'm like, guys, I need my liver to be here. I'm not feeling it here. I'm not getting the rush that I'm getting.
Yes.
But unfortunately, when I got to the last line, the person who was going before me, they failed to unhook her before I could come. So by the time I got to her, the braking system was not applied on my line. So I went straight for the pole, hit it with my leg, bang, bang. 9 stitches later, I'm walking with a crutch.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long will it take to heal?
I don't know, but we move, babe.
We move.
It'll find us.
Thank you for coming, like, in this condition and just making time for me. I've been trying to get you. You are a hard lady to get.
The thing is, when I make promises, I keep them. Promise. Okay?
Promise. That's cool. So in this episode, I don't want to talk about the advocate, the Madam Speaker, the advocate, you know. I think, and I always say that about myself, that when I check myself online, it's about, I won't leave my husband for cheating. Guys, can we speak about something else? Because that's a fact. I won't do that, you know. But then I want people, when they search you one time and they know about your inner child, where you come from, like until you got married, your kids. I don't know anything about that on your side. I'm just seeing this woman that is fighting. And I was like, there is more to this woman than what she's advocating for, which is a great movement for that matter. So please tell us about your background. How did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
I'm a Venda girl from Mashamba village, born and bred there. I'm a second child of 4 before my mom passed, obviously, before my dad remarried. Until 2005, when my mom passed, my dad married my stepmom, and then she's got 2 kids. So we're a big family. You know, my family
Big meaning 4?
No, it's the 4 of us from my mom. And 2,
the stepmom.
Yes, then my stepmother has 2, so it's 6 of us. And it's my stepmom and my dad and my grandmother. So literally, I grew up there. I always say that my dad is my hero. I don't really like talking about him a lot because I get to cry when I talk about my dad.
That today.
You want me to cry? I'm not afraid of crying, actually, you know. After my mom passed, right, in 2005, my mom asked my dad to make a promise to him, to her, that he's going to make sure that we all go to school, and then she will rest in peace. You know, her dream, because she never got a chance to actually finish school. You know,
mom.
Yes. So this one time, I remember it was in 2006 or 7. There, I was a very naughty child, by the way, and I think out of my siblings, I'm the only one I was literally the problem child. You know, but I was one of those problem children that would have friends who are boys, but I was not having any intercourse. And obviously with parents, when they see you with boys, they'll be like, oh my goodness, there's going to be a tummy coming very soon. So I was never that. So this one time he sat me down and he showed me his diary. He said, it was the first time I actually saw my dad cry, you know. He's like, God took the most precious thing away from me, and I will never be happy again until her wishes are fulfilled. And her wishes are what? Are us going to school. And he was saying to me that, you know what, please don't make it difficult for me to be happy again, because you going to school actually fulfills your mother's wishes, making me happy, you know. So I took that. And I remember when I went to varsity, I decided that, listen, because I know the type of person that I am, and I'm actually the leader of I'm usually the leader of the pack, you know. So I was like, okay, let me just go study far away so that my friends who are in Joburg and Pretoria, who are busy changing courses from time to time, I really don't want to do that. I want to go to school, pass. And my dad is a man of his word. If he says, I'm giving you 4 years to study, that's 4 years. Anything beyond that, you're going to come back home, you go to ShopRite, go get a job. You know? So I literally ran away from all of my friends and everybody, and I went to study in Durban, where I made new friends there, friends that I handpicked myself, who are still my friends even now. And that's how I actually made it in life. And the rest is history. Study? I studied electrical engineering.
Where?
Durban University of Technology.
Did you go to Durban?
Yeah.
You were there for 4 years?
I was there for 2.5 to 3.
And then?
Then I went to do my in-service training. I did in-service training before I finished. I was smart. Sorry, guys, I was a very smart kid.
Please tell us.
Thank you very much. So I actually did my in-service training before finishing my modules.
Okay.
And I used to travel like this in between Limpopo and Durban to write and still be able to do the training. So I graduated way earlier than my mates because of being able to get the training while I'm still studying. Yeah. So I just wanted to be out of my dad's payroll because I knew that there was a lot of us. Yeah.
So are you an engineer or what?
I'm an electrical engineering technician.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you work for one of these big corporates.
Yeah, let's not talk about my boss, my bread and butter. I love you, boss.
And I think people won't be very happy with you now when you went to
they won't like me anymore.
Anyway, so your mom passes in 2005.
Yeah.
What happened?
She had kidney failure. So my mom's side of the family is one that suffers a lot with kidney failures, just kidney issues in general, you know. And my mom passed away from that. My mom's younger sister passed away from that. Her brother passed away from that. So that family on its own is one family that really suffers a lot, because I have another uncle who's busy with, you know, your dialysis and all that stuff. So, and I do believe that back in the day, also because we were too young, you know, even if I said I would want to help and save my mom's life, I couldn't, because I was way too young. And also technology was not as broad then as it is now. So 2005, 39, she passed away because of
39?
Kidney. Yeah, she was 39 when
and
she passed.
And how old were you?
I was 15, turning 16.
Do you still remember the moment?
When she passed? Yeah. When she passed, we were at my uncle's place, right? Her older brother. So I don't know if you remember those times where there was this Pastor Irene, that passed away from CWC, right? So she was visiting that area, Vleefontein. That's where my uncle stays. And that day, when we went to my uncle's house, because it's a drive from Mashamba village to Vleefontein, but we went there to see my mom for the day. And then when we got there, we met her going to the crusade. We waited. She couldn't come back, right? And then I ended up having to go to the crusade, see her, greet her, but she was not her normal self. And you know how we parents try to be strong in front of the kids? I could tell that this person is literally trying to be strong. And after her being prayed for there, my mom never came back. You know, because after being prayed for, she got her complications and whatnot. And when we were sitting with my younger brother, because my older sister was already in varsity by then, she was already doing, I think, her first year at TUT. Every time when somebody opens the door, I used to call my mom Mani. Mani as in Mangwani.
Yes, Mangwani.
Yes, because Mawe, mom, I call my
grandmother.
No. My grandmother has 3 sons. So we all grew up in one home. So the first wife of of your grandmother, that's Mawe, right? And our mothers, the other 2, we call them Mani. So even my mom, we used to call them Mani. So every time when I hear the door opening, I'm like, Mani's back. Mani's back. And the whole time when people are busy opening the door, they're actually trying to make arrangements for her being taken to, you know, because she didn't make it. So when these people are busy coming and going, I see people, their eyes are red. In my head, I'm thinking, I'm waiting for my mom to just come back, you know, because we've been here the whole day waiting for her to come back. And eventually my mom's younger sister, who's now late, and my mom's older sister then had to sit us down. It was me and my brother by then. And my youngest sister was like a year and 6 months when my mom passed. So she doesn't know my mom. And they sat us down and they told us, money is no more. I couldn't believe it. I cried so much. And I was so mad at the older people who were there reprimanding me, saying, no, don't cry, don't make noise, Because even today, I've always been a stubborn child in a sense that if something doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
For me to do something, you need to tell me why I must do it the way that you want me to do it. I've always been that child. So when we got home, after we heard that Mani passed away, when we got home, I find a lot of people in the yard, because they heard already she passed. Now they're all there. When I got there, I was so pissed. I'm like, these people were not there when my mom was sick. I was literally the mom, taking care of my younger sister and making sure that everybody is ready for school and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, now that she's passed, all these people are here. I just went past them, straight to my bedroom, locked myself in there, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sure. That's actually, the passing of a parent. And the reason why I want to speak about your childhood or your background is because I want to understand why you are the way that you are. Because I know I'm like this because of 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
Going into your marriage and everything that we do is how we grew up,
Sure.
And so now your dad remarried when?
My dad remarried, I think, 1.5 years after my mom passed. But my dad then remarried his cousin. In my culture,
yes.
Even in Sepedi, so he married his cousin, his uncle's daughter, but not like immediate uncle, like second family uncle.
Yes.
But we already knew her. She used to even come when my mom was alive. So I think it was that thing, well, if they want to make it work, they can make it work. So literally when my stepmom is angry, she would always tell me, this is my cousin. And also say to my grandmother, so we are family.
So the stepmom that is now is the second cousin of your mom?
Of my dad.
Stop the bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's allowed in my culture.
Yeah. Even us, it's allowed. But were they dating or they were... Because in Bedi culture, there's this thing, what do they call it? Is it no? Like when I, God forbid, pass, then my husband can take my little sister. But I don't know what I forgot what they call
Even
it.
in my culture, they do that. But
so was it arranged or they had a relationship?
No. I think, okay, can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think I have a cousin who's hot. I think I have a cousin that when I look at her,
that you're looking at him,
because we could really make this thing work.
Okay.
So I think maybe they had that the whole time. But my aunt, my stepmom, she had a good relationship with everybody, even my mom, even us, we knew her. But it's just that the difference now was that before we used to call her Kazi. We used to call her Mutwala.
Yes.
Now we need to call her Mani. So for me, I couldn't do it. I was like, I call her Mama. I call her Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel when your dad started dating her? Because for me, I feel if it's within the family, I think it's understandable. It's like, we're still just a family. We are continuing, But as a child, how did you feel about that?
My dad is a very open person. I think that's where I took this that I am from my dad. My dad is very open. Like that man is,
like
I've never, it's so unbelievable because he's like a traditional vendor man, but he's very open. So he set us down. He's like, listen guys, as a man, I don't even know how to lift a teaspoon.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything. And your mom is not coming back. So I need to have somebody who's going to help me. And also your younger sister is still too young. You can't take care of your younger sister forever.
Yeah.
You need to pass. You need to go to varsity. And I feel like the best person that can do that and help me is going to be my cousin, Oh, wow. And then it didn't really, he wasn't asking for our permission per se, because even if we were not happy with it, it's not like he was going to listen to us.
Yes.
But the fact that he informed us and it was like a formal thing to say, okay, sit around the table, this is what's going on. I don't know how the others took it, because my brother is very reserved, My sister as well, she's not a person who talks a lot. And then the youngest was too young to that my younger sister didn't know that my stepmother was not her mom until they told her by the streets, where she was like, "Na mama ka wile kept and that's how she found out. So it was not really it needed us to understand. And I think I was of age. I was watching TV. I already knew people die, people marry, and him being able to just sit us down and take us through the whole thing of where he's at. And also before he remarried, he got into a horrible accident. That almost took his life.
Yeah.
And just the thought of now we are 100% orphans, it really scared us.
Yeah.
So when he then said, okay, I'm going to be taking my cousin, she's going to be my wife. And for us, it was like, okay, better somebody we know.
Yeah.
And everybody was in support of it, actually.
Yeah. So they got married, or it's just like traditional things?
No, they got married.
White wedding?
No.
No, I mean, now it's like traditional things, just Lobola and that.
That's what they did.
Okay, and how was your mom and your dad's marriage, the actual marriage?
Okay, I think as a child, I wouldn't really know much about what happens with the two parents.
Yeah.
But all I know is that my mom has always been the reserved one. And the other thing with her is that she was loving towards everybody. She was literally the mother of the whole community. Her heart, she had a heart of gold, So with my dad, their relationship was theirs. You understand what I'm saying? It was, because my dad is like me, right? Very vocal. My mom, on the other hand, she's quiet. She's reserved. I don't think I could describe for them on a marriage level.
Marriage setup,
Exactly. You get what I'm saying? But I literally grew up with a mom and a dad who loved each other.
Yeah, I think, your childhood is more like mine in a sense that, like, just you describing your mom, describing your dad. We have the same parents.
Yeah.
My dad is like, he'll speak here and talk about sex and how what. Whereas my mom is just the mother of the whole community.
Yes.
He'd rather just mother everyone else and not talk about the actual things that are in her heart.
Actually, my mom used to call her friends to come and talk to us about boys because she couldn't do it herself.
My mom would do that.
Like,
no.
Yeah, so she was a very reserved person, but I think they matched. I mean, that's how they managed to stay together for that long. Yeah.
And how do you now meet your ex-husband?
Oh, okay. So now after I left Durban, going to Lephalale to do my in-service training and whatever, at first we met through a friend because there's a friend of mine who, my ride or die, who was working with him. She was still a learner by then. And then she was so excited to say, my friend is now coming to stay in Lephalale, whatever. So she used to talk about me all the time. So that's how I actually got to meet him, because through this friend that was their colleague, was a colleague to her, right? And then, we met like that. It was very brief in passing, but very handsome guy. Do you know my ex?
I don't know him.
You don't know my ex?
No.
Hey, my ex is in Ngamnge.
Okay, I know your kid, so I can see.
You see my son?
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he has I think the one thing that actually, I don't know whether this question is coming or not, but the one thing that actually got me hooked to this guy immediately when I looked at, he's got a very humble soul.
Oh.
I think that's my type, actually.
Yeah.
He's got a very, very humble spirit. That guy has the softest heart. Okay, besides my new boyfriend, okay.
It's not a competition, boo.
No, it's not. So he's got a very humble, and I see it even with my kids, to say the most beautiful thing that I feel like it's a gift that I gave my kids is having him as the dad, because that heart, that besides the characters and whatever, but that heart is the one thing that captured me, and I thank God that we're able to make a replica of that, and that is in my kids.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's actually deep. It's very beautiful to hear. So when do you guys get married?
We got married in because we met in 2010, 2011. We got married in the first Lobola thing happened in 2013. And then I got scared because I got into a horrible car accident after that Lobola that took my daughter. That took my daughter's life. And then we only did the final thing, I think it was in 2015. But by that time, we were already staying together. We already had kids. We already, it was just a formality of saying, okay, let's finish this whole thing off. But the final one was in 2015, but the first one was in 2013.
So when you guys were doing the first one, you had already had kids?
Yeah.
Wait, one kid?
One kid, the one that passed away.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now that you're talking about it?
Now, I have done a lot of healing,
because
I think when it happened, my ex-husband has a daughter from his previous relationship that I was very accepting of. And I think after my daughter passed away, I consoled myself with that child. So I never really healed because we used to stay with her. I used to stay with her.
Okay.
Yeah, so in my household, it was me, 3 kids, the husband and the wife. So I think to a certain degree, in as much as the child as well, that child has got her father's heart, beautiful heart. There's no way you can love that child. So I think because of her and the good heart that she had, I totally just shifted my mind and focused on raising her.
Yeah.
And then when we had other kids, it was like just a family unit. So I never really dealt with the passing of my daughter until the divorce.
Do you maybe perhaps want to tell, because now I've just spoken about it from me knowing about it. Do you want to tell people what happened? Like through
During
the
the
accident? Yes.
Okay, so on the day of the Lobola, right, negotiation, I went home, I think a day before on a Friday with my nanny then and my daughter, right? She was 9 months old. And then when we got home, obviously we're doing the preparations for the people who are coming, the in-laws who are coming and whatnot. And then on the day, then they came, then the Lobola prize and whatever. We were now mad at each other because they doubled the price. I don't know what, that old man did me dirty.
He really did you dirty.
Yeah, because before he asked me, so how much does this boy have? I'm like, look, charge him 30. Did you not charge him 65? But it's fine. And then after the whole
Did they
Lobola
have,
thing,
or they said they'll come back with the
they had
rest?
to give them half.
Yeah.
And then they came with the other half in 2015.
Okay.
Right. So now, after that, and people have to go their separate ways now. We decided to swap cars with my ex. He was driving his younger sister's car. His younger sister, the one that we're very close with, right? So I took the younger sister's car. He took the car that I was driving because he had more people. And then I think around 5 o'clock, I was leaving Mashamba going to Lipalale. And the reason why I was forcing to leave on that day, which was on a Saturday after the Lobola, was because on a Sunday, I was supposed to travel to Mpumalanga for a course for my work, right?
Okay.
So as I'm traveling there, on that Saturday afternoon, you know something, I don't really believe in witchcraft much, you know, but there was something weird that was happening on, because I was driving from Polokwane. After Polokwane, there's this Matlala road. What's the name of the village? Is Lepotlako village or something like that. So while I was driving there, there's a lot of donkeys. I'm seeing donkeys crossing, you know, the road. It's like literally it felt like there was maybe a bee which is stinging these things to cross the road, because I mean, it's either you must find a donkey standing there or just by the side. They were running around. You understand? So, but I didn't really, because I think I was driving around about my 80. That lady that I was with, together with the baby, they were at the back, they were sleeping. Immediately, when I was trying to duck one donkey which was coming from the other side, because I was driving a Polo Vivo, right? I hit the gravel with the 2 tires. The car overturned 4 times. You know, but after the car overturned, the lady's leg was hurt. The baby seemed fine. She seemed like she only had a scratch here, right?
So it turned and stand on its feet again.
Yes.
Its wheels again.
Yes. And then the baby had like a scar here, like it was like, you know, a scratch. And then the only unfortunate thing, I think this is the reason why I'm saying I'm glad that at the camp where I was, I'm the one who got into an accident, because if it was somebody else who didn't even have medical aid, it was going to be a problem, you know? So when we had that accident, the only thing that broke my heart was, okay, the lady that we're with must now go to provincial hospital. Then my baby must be taken to Mediclinic. You get what I'm saying? So when we had to separate as a family, because my dad now came in from home, they drove all the way. The in-laws also came all the way. So it was literally like halfway, you know. So we had to split. Some people had to go to the provincial hospital where that lady I was with was, and some had to go to Mediclinic where my daughter was, because I had to stay behind for the accident reports and whatnot and whatnot. And then when I got there, she was awake, you know, she was conscious. They were like, okay, listen, because we are seeing this head injury, we were going to put her in a neonatal ICU, because anything that has anything to do with the head, it's serious.
Yeah.
But when I looked at her name was Ofunwa, right?
What does that mean?
She is loved.
Oh.
So when I looked at her, she looked like she's fine, you know, she's just... she's a baby, she's hurt. And then when they did the x-ray, they found that there's a tiny fracture right at the back of the head, you know? And for me, you know, look, I'm in engineering. I mean, if you tell me about tiny fracture, I'm thinking it's the same thing as my leg. It can't get any worse. I'm one of those people, right? And then when they said to me, okay, because it's a head injury, it's serious. I need you to just bear in mind that this is serious.
It's serious.
I'm like, okay, but then we only saw like, yeah, that fracture is too small. It's very, very tiny, like very, very small. But now the problem is with that fracture, it pressed inwards towards the brain, right? And with it pressing inwards towards the brain, it means that, remember, the brain does not want anything to be tampered with it. And they told me that, listen, don't relax. In as much as the baby is fine everywhere and it's just here, but this here might be a problem. So there might be a 50-50 chance of the baby leaving. It didn't make sense to me then, you know? And then the following morning, they told me that, like, okay, remember we told you that because of that tiny fracture, we might have a problem. So the baby's brain started swelling. So because the brain has started swelling, it's a 50-50 chance. We'll try to give her something to get the swelling to go down. But remember, if the swelling doesn't go down, the baby's going to be brain dead. And if somebody's brain dead, they're dead. Me, Pelamina, baby,
you are so tough, Wena.
I'm not. Why?
You know, when I'm listening at you, like I'm thinking about the situation.
I've had my fair share of crying and I've healed from it. I even have a tattoo of a name.
A thing.
I even have a name tattooed on me.
I'm remembering a first-time mother. Your 9-month-old baby's name. You.
No, it was tough. It really took a lot out of me. You know, I did the work of healing. I really did. To a point where even my kids asked me about it when we passed that place now, because I even have strength to pass through that village where we can stop. And I told them, this is where we had an accident. This is where your sister passed. I literally promise I had to do the work for myself.
Yeah.
Because there was no other way I was ever going to overcome this if I didn't do the work. I literally had to scratch my own wound, you know? So
the following day,
they tell me that, okay, the baby's brain has swollen. So there's a 50-50 chance the baby might not make it. And just keep doing whatever it is that you do. That time,
yes,
I am praying. Hey, I am quoting Psalms 24. Hey.
Oh my God.
And then later on the following day, they tell me, okay, unfortunately, the baby's brain is not working anymore. That means that the baby is brain dead. So the only thing that when you are seeing this pumping thing that's happening, that's her heart. And the heart is not pumping because the brain is sending a message to the heart to say pump. It's because of this oxygen that we've given her. Meaning that if we take away the oxygen, the heart is going to stop beating. So at this point, what we would suggest is that you allow us to switch off the machine, or so that we can donate the organs to other people's kids. I'm like, okay, listen, right now, other people's kids are the least of my problems. I don't care whether other people's kids live or not. Don't tell me about other people's kids. Keep the baby here until the medical aid says it is exhausted.
It's exhausted.
Because there is no way. I am literally, you know, by day 6, right? I was saying, if this baby is not going to live, can I not be the one that takes this baby? If this baby live, can she eventually wake up? You know, because there was no way I was going to literally be the one that pulls the plug. And you know, when you get to a point where you pray prayers like that, when you say, Lord, let your will be done.
Yeah.
It's like, it's whatever.
It's whatever.
You know, and by that time we were traveling to Leboahomo. My ex-sister-in-law stays in Leboahomo. So it was literally us just traveling in and out of the hospital every day with my ex-husband. And because we couldn't sleep in the hospital because it's ICU, you know. When we, on the last day,
what day? How many days later?
6 days later, on the 7th day.
Yeah.
They were praying for the baby, you know. The earth is the Lord's. I know Psalms 24 by heart because I used to recite it every single day. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and everything that dwells in it. He founded it upon you know. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. You be lifted, you everlasting doors, that the King of glory can come in. I used to do that, you know. And after that, when we went, the hospital calls us 015. I'm like, okay, this is definitely the hospital. The time is 7 o'clock. I'm hoping they'll tell me that the baby is miraculously woken up. They're like, come back to the hospital. Drive back to the hospital. I already knew how to read the machine because I've been there every single day. And not because I'm one person who really wants to understand. I would ask them, okay, what is this? This is the heart. These are the lungs. These are the kidneys. So, but then with those 7 days, every single day they would tell me, okay, things are deteriorating, you know. The kidneys are failing. Literally her organs were shutting down.
Yeah.
You know. And when we got there on that day, I just saw dash.
Oh my God.
for the first time, and those nurses thought I don't cry because I do cry, but
Yeah.
I
When you have to put up your panties, you'll pull them up.
no. The thing is, I don't have to cry so that you can see that I'm crying to prove to you that I'm in pain.
Okay.
I want to cry when I want to cry.
Yes,
Not
I
to
hear
prove to
that.
you. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because when they've never seen, and the amount of hours that I would spend inside there, I'd be crying, but I would not be crying for them to come. No, that's not me.
Yeah.
When I saw dash everything, that's when I fell on my knees and I screamed. So they took the baby from the life support, right? They're like, okay, you need to hold the baby for a couple of minutes. Whenever you're ready, you can tell us to come and fetch the baby. Guys, I was holding a very heavy, you know how heavy a dead body is?
No, I don't.
You wouldn't know. That baby was
It's
heavy.
us laughing. Hey, I don't even know why we're laughing.
Come on. I mean, it's not going to change anything
bruh.
anyway. So as I was holding her, remember they were feeding her with through the pipes. So all the milk is coming out. Literally to say this person is not here. This person cannot keep anything down. And after that, I was literally begging her to say, "Oh, Funwa, please wake up." And also at some point I was like, okay, I have a lot of sins. This baby has no sins.
Nothing.
Can we swap position? That was my prayer by that time. But then I
The
thought
last
about it.
prayer,
Yeah,
like,
that
yeah,
was my
which
last
what?
prayer, But when I actually thought about it later on with therapy, I'm a big fan of therapy. I know I speak about that all the time. I got to realize that maybe the baby was going to suffer more with her being alive and me being dead, because in as much as I can never ever replace her, but I had 2 more beautiful babies after that, So that's how it happened. We went back home for the burial because I spent a lot of time crying there at the hospital. Still, even when I got home, people are like, we're worried about this one. She's not crying. I'm like, guys,
crying.
I'm not going to cry because you are telling me to
cry.
No, I'll cry when I want to cry.
Yeah.
I would cry. And we buried the baby. After that, we went back. And that's why we had to spend 2 years, because when they wanted to go finish the Lobola, I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Until my son was like 4 months old. And then we went and then we did the whole Lobola celebration and the wedding thing.
Sure. So us being black and knowing what now, living your life in hindsight, like living it backwards, what do you think happened on the day? Because you just got married, and like us being black people, what do you think of that day?
Well, I did hear a lot of, stories, people manifesting demons at their churches, that she can't have it all, she can't be married, having a job. I was driving an Audi by then. She can't be driving this car. Everything of hers is just falling into place. But with me being me, and what my dad has taught me. My dad has taught me that my dad is a Rastafari, by the way.
Oh.
Right? Not a hardcore one,
Yeah.
but that's what he believes in.
Beliefs.
And he would always tell me that before you accuse anybody of witchcraft, understand that life happens to the living. Then you can come back and say, okay, promise bewitched me, but life still happens to the living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually powerful, because you won't hold things or
Yeah.
and stuff like
Because
that.
even towards the witch, life happens. They also face stuff as witches.
Yeah.
So life happens to the living.
So anyway, now you guys have other kids and then you finish your Lobola negotiations.
Yeah.
How is the marriage? How was your marriage? I cannot imagine you as a wife. I think now, because I only knew you as this person who's always giving.
I had a beautiful marriage, ne? I had a beautiful marriage, and I was a wife material. Wife material is that if you check I have always been a social media person. I'm the one who's giving people recipes for cooking, for baking.
Were you that person?
I was that person. I still love cooking and baking. It's just that the place where I've moved into now triggers me, because I don't have the luxury of your dining tables and whatever that I used to have.
Yes.
So because I can't cook and display it nicely, I don't really like doing that a lot, But I'm that girl. And remember, I used to be in the worship team. I used to be at church 6 days a week, because the weekly prayers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was me. I was ordained as a deaconess at our church. My ex-husband was a deacon.
Patung.
I'm telling you.
I can actually now imagine the marriage. It was that one at church, Barry. See, Sister Ban.
Yes, we were that. We were the pastor's favorite.
Oh.
Yes. We had a beautiful marriage. Mana, that guy that I was married to, that guy has a beautiful heart. I was actually thinking about it when I was coming here. I'm like, if Promise asks me, Hori, what is the one beautiful thing you can say about this guy?
Yes.
You know, in as much as, now according to me, I've never really said a lot of bad things about him. But the one beautiful thing that I will never forget about this guy was, I'm very stubborn. Very stubborn. Ne? So we have a sewing business. I make clothes. I'm a fashion designer.
Tell people the name of your...
Guys, my clothing brand is called Crowned Lioness.
Yes.
Please go check it out there on Instagram.
Yeah.
I do the things. I make the things happen, right?
Yeah.
So this one time, I was supposed to go to Joburg to buy fabric because deadlines, weddings, December, it's busy. People want to... Because I would literally make from like the wedding gown all the way down.
Okay.
Right? So this guy says to me, my ex, he says, please take the car. Go with the car. I'm like, no, I'm not going with the car. It's going to cost me a lot. I'm just going to go in and out, buy what needs to be bought. I'll get a traveling bag. Wara, 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 wara.
Yeah.
When I got to Joburg, I was stuck.
Yeah. Not somebody like takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. And I'm not used to the taxi life.
Yeah.
I am now overwhelmed. I'm not even done buying. And today is the only day that I have that is left for me to buy what I need to buy. Because deadlines, can I have a 9 to 5? He's at work. I call him Lavi. I used to call him Lavi. Lavi, I'm stuck. What happened? Yo, when you told me so.
No, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. You know what that guy did? He knocked off and came to fetch me. He drove 4 hours. I will never forget that
To
day.
come to Joburg?
Yeah, he came.
My wife is stuck.
And he didn't say anything. The whole time.
What the...
You told me so, ne? I was like, forget about it. Pack your things. Let's go home. We went home.
Yeah.
And that was it. That is the guy that I was married to. You know, so literally in our home, in terms of love and also the kids, the display of love and affection, my kids know. I don't delete memories. If you go on my Facebook, it's just that back then, my like 2 most popular platforms, it was Facebook and Instagram. If you go all the way back, you will find pictures of me and my family, you know. We had a normal home that I felt like what we were doing is trying to pick things from our parents. Like, okay, this is what I loved about my family. I'm going to take that. This is what I loved about my family. I'm going to take that. And we're trying to make that work. But the only thing that was a problem was that I'm very expressive. I'm very... I detail things, right? And my ex, once you start talking a lot, he shuts down.
He shuts down.
And when he shuts down, he'll say yes.
Agreeing to everything.
Agree to everything. And then he's going to go and mess up. And then he's going to come and say, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it.
So that would drive you crazy.
Listen.
Yeah.
I used to just pray to God every day. Oh, God, is this the one?
Yeah.
This husband.
Is this the one
this
that
one.
you say is the one?
Know? Yeah. You know, because the expectations, though, I think that's the biggest problem of us going into relationships. When you see somebody, we overlook all the things which you feel like, okay, this is a temporary situation. It can be changed.
Yeah.
The fact that the heart doesn't grow. It's the same age throughout, right?
Yes.
So because of this beautiful heart, I believe that all these other things we can work on until the other things that you want to work on are the things that are going to kill you.
That's powerful. Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
I forgot what I said.
Okay, we'll just replay it because I felt it was very powerful.
Okay.
So now then, what happened then? Because now I don't think there is something that you say this was the issue. It was just him being this person that when you speak to, he's quiet, he's not responsive, and then later on, he's going to do exactly what you were be caring about, and then you become even more angrier. So what happened in your marriage?
For it to come to an end?
Yeah.
Promise, you know, I think I've said so many times, I've shared my story time of marriage, whatever, so many times. But in a nutshell, when I met my ex, he was in a lot of debt, you know, and he literally did not know how to help himself get out of that debt.
Yeah.
And me knowing that he has a job, he works well, they pay him well, but he has a bad habit. He's not disciplined financially whatsoever. And also he hid a lot of these things from me before we got married, in as much as I asked for them so many times, to a point where I was, they ganged up on me at some point to say, oh, is it because you think you're better, you don't want to sign with our son, you know?
Yeah.
So I fell into that, but also me being able to say yes to get married to that guy, I think it was the fact that I'm focusing on the fact that this guy has a beautiful heart. I know that with his beautiful heart, we can overcome anything.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with all these debts that he was coming with all this, like it was surprise debts for me. Like, tada, I'm owing this person. Tada, Louis wants to come and fetch my couches. Tada.
Yeah.
Dude, it was tada after tada.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and when you confront him, he's going to apologize. That's going to literally just disarm you.
Like disarm you.
Yeah. So, I remember in 2016, I set them down. Obviously, by that time, I was not involving my family. My dad, everybody in my family didn't know what was happening in my marriage because they loved my husband.
Yes.
You know,
plus he's humble soul.
He's very, very humble.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I find out these things, I sat down with his older sister, his parents, I was like his aunt as well. I was like, guys, listen, I want to divorce this guy because I want to buy a house. I cannot turn 30 without a house. And by the time I turn 35, I want to be having a couple of properties. And this guy is going to come kabaiki. I love him, right? He's going to come into the house kabaiki because he's not serious about us building together. I'm not going to do this thing, you know? They're like, no, you know, we'll talk to him. Let's just be patient with him. And you know, when you're getting advice from people who are also succumbing to the similar thing, no pan, all right? People who are...
Say it.
If somebody is suffering certain type of abuse, they're obviously not going to advise you to leave things that they're sticking around for. You get what I mean? So those are the type of people who are advising me by then to say, they will grow up eventually. I'm like, what? They're going to grow up.
Yes.
So after that, I was like, okay, it's fine. Let's do this thing one more time. I was a prayerful person, by the way, you know, and I would always pray about it. God, this is my situation. This man has a kind heart. This man has a job. So literally him having a job, it's potential to actually overcome these financial battles that we're fighting.
But then when he'll have money, he'll do other stuff and not pay back stuff.
Yes, you know, so that doesn't help, you know. But if you see somebody who has a job, has a lot of debts, you helping him. And when I say helping him, I'm not talking about me always taking my money. I'm talking about the initial stage of me helping him deal with his financial issues was me just micromanaging his finances. And at some point he would, because he's a very, he's not an aggressive person, right? He would snap. And the time when he snaps, that's when I would like, okay, no, he's really tired.
He's tired.
Because he would be like, I'm sick and tired of you just telling me what to do. I'm not a child anymore, you know? And by that time, now I'm trying to see, have you paid? You understand what I'm saying? So imagine somebody at your big age, somebody comes and they take your salary and they manage it for you to pay your own debt.
No.
You're tired because you are used to just eating it.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I would do that. I would see that it frustrates him sometimes. I would pause, but I would still have to continue until we finish.
Yeah.
I think it took us 3 to 4 years. When I say I'm applying for a house, they'll be like, this one did a short-term loan, this side. When I try to, this one did a consolidation. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with
Where
this
does
guy?
he spend the money though?
Do I know?
But was he a cheater?
Or are with the girls?
What, did he have girlfriends?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know whether we'll get to that or not, but yeah, it's fine. After the first time, eventually, after a long time, we eventually overcame that
debt problem.
The debt problem.
Oh, wow.
That's when quickly I was able to apply for a house. I'm the principal owner. He's the co-owner. I didn't mind all of that. You know, for me, it was a matter of we are a family.
Building.
So meaning that even if whether it's under my name, under his name,
we are one.
We are one. You know, we can't separate the two.
Then, right?
Yes, we have signed then. You know, so we overcome this whole thing. We buy a house. We are cruising nicely. I didn't even take that brother 3 months to go back swimming into
his ways.
He went back, and now when he went back the second time, I was emotionally exhausted.
Yeah,
I was like, "There's no way I'm doing this for the second time because that means that I'm doing this for the rest of my life."
Yes.
And now what was even worse was that instead of him just getting himself into the debt, he got me into debt. Oh. Where, let's say a car has been bought, it's under my name because I'm the one with a good credit. But then he commits to say, I'm going to be the one that pays. And then he doesn't pay.
I know, he was starting to be...
Then now I'm swimming in debt.
Yes.
I am swimming, I'm swimming in debt. Like all the debts in the house are under my name because I was the one who was qualifying and he's paying none of them. I'm telling you, I used to make clothes across around the clock just so that I can cover up, because I was under the impression that you are paying the levies and electricity. You are paying the municipality, maybe say 2,000 every month.
Yeah.
Get the shock of my life. Switch off. You are owing 50,000. Promise.
Sure.
Love you, and then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Love you, sorry, Shem.
And we're more than sorry.
And I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got sorry.
And
Sorry. You know, so I was so tired of being a mother, because I really felt like I was a mother to him.
Yeah.
And I was tired of bailing him out. I'm like, listen, dude, where we're seated right now, my kids are gonna grow up and I don't have to care for them anymore. But you're going to be a problem to me for the rest of my life. I don't want this thing anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I told you even when we did it the first time that I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm bailing you out once. This is emotionally draining for me. When I said that, let's get divorced the first time, I think that was in 2019 when I realized how much of a debt I was in because of him not just paying his side. We even went to the pastor. I was like, hey, now I want a divorce. You know, like, no, you know, you can still work on this thing. We went for therapy, and still, he was still doing, we are going for therapy. Literally, the therapy that we were attending, we're not attending it so that he can see better and do better and whatever. It was just for me to get over it. So that we can continue where we left off, and then I'll continue picking up after him for the rest of my life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I literally had to release myself because I started resenting him. Resenting him, like, promise, we went for like months, without even touching each other.
And being in the same house.
We were in the same house. We used to sleep on the same bed because, remember, our kids couldn't even see. So literally, our kids sleeping in between us would make it seem like it's like us enjoying being together as a family, but we were really just growing apart. And I do believe that with us growing apart, then he decided to find comfort somewhere else. So I got to a point, I'm a very honest person, right? I got to a point where I said, okay, listen, dude, so what's going to happen now is that you can go and date, I will go and date, because I'm very young. I still need to be sexually active. Sex is my very favorite, one of my favorite sports.
I heard you were saying you had sexual intercourse with this leg. By the way, no, I trust you.
You know, so I did speak to him, about that, to say, listen, dude, just do you, I'll do me. But obviously for me, it took time before I could literally just get to a point where I'm doing me, because it took until the divorce proceedings started.
Yeah.
So what he did was that while I'm sitting here, I felt like I was literally sitting waiting for him to be ready for divorce. Now I'm ready. I'm sitting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to be ready for divorce. 2019 it dragged. 2022 we were like
and you are in the house filing divorces, being together.
No, we didn't file in 2019.
You're just talking about it.
I'm the one who wants it, and he's saying no. And he's saying we must fight for it. We must go to the pastors. We must do this. Look at the pastor. The pastor is also financially abusing the wife. What can he tell me?
Yes.
So it, like, literally at the end of it all, it took him finding somebody else, being ready to start something new with that somebody else, for him to say, it's fine, I'll give you your divorce. Right? It's just unfortunate that the other person didn't know the real things that I was dealing with in the house, because immediately after the divorce, the lady was like, no, sorry. She left. So after all of that, after he was then ready.
I saw you made a video about that, I think.
About what? The lady?
Yeah. I think you said you were happy, the lady that...
Yeah, I made a I'm joking. I didn't make a dress for her. I was just adding some spice there when I said I made the dress for her. But honestly speaking...
She's married now. You were
she's
saying
married
the
now.
She
even has a child. I literally feel like that lady was my saving grace. I feel like even when I bump into her, I have nothing against that lady, because she literally helped me catalyze the situation to get what I've always wanted, because there was no change, promise. In as much as we're attending therapy, we're praying about it, but when we come back home, he's still doing the same thing. He's still saying he's sorry for it. And he was sorry because he is very remorseful and sorry about it, It's just that now I was tired. I was like, you've run out of sorries for a lifetime, I became and I didn't realize this until the end of the marriage. I was actually telling my partner the same thing the other day, because.
But so did the pillow talk with your current?
My current partner is also a divorcee, so we really do talk about
how things went there.
No, not really the merits of what happened in the relationships, but the lesson learned of the previous relationships and what we can take from that. He is also one person who really admits his wrongs in his relationship, you know. So I was then saying, I think one thing that I took advantage of is the fact that my ex-husband had a very good heart and he's very quick to forgive. Like that guy would go out 2 minutes, he's in, he's asking you about something else. Guy.
Yeah.
You know, he has that soul. You understand what I mean? So I think I took advantage of him because I knew that he would not hold grudges, you know, to a point where the words that I would say to him, I would literally say, you know, I used to say to that guy, my brother. Because when I'm angry, I call people my brother, or when I'm too excited. So my brother, you mean to tell me, Uri, if we remove you from this equation, is there anything that's going to fall apart?
Sure.
And there wasn't anything that was going to fall apart.
No, because you had everything by your back.
Exactly. You know, those words, for me, I didn't even realize what they were doing to him. I remember this one time, I was so pissed at him. I said, and what pissed me off, hey, I don't know how to put this promise there, but there's that thing, Yahori, people will tell you what their parents went through so that they can prepare you to take the same shit.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he would then tell me a story
About the parents.
about what the parents went through. And then he comes and he puts me through the same thing. I'm like, oh, you're your father. You think I'm your mother. You understand?
Yeah, it's a step here.
Bonane, that thing happened 7 years before the divorce. But on the last day, he mentioned it.
He's still reciting it.
That guy recited all the things I used to say to him. And he acted as if they didn't do anything to him. That's when I realized that I don't know the guy that I was married to. And also because now my view of who he is not what he actually is. It kind of contributed to me treating him or speaking the way that I used to speak with him. Because I was like, this one really don't care. You know, you can literally say something to me and it doesn't land. But if you say the same thing to somebody else, they take offense. So I took him to be somebody like that.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I then took to my next relationship was that I would rather not say anything at all. If I know that what I'm gonna say to you, it will stick.
Be nice.
You understand what I'm saying? So after all of that, he was ready. You know, he's moved on. It's living la vida loca. And then initially, I wanted to move out of my house, which worked out perfectly for him because he's gonna come in with his new girlfriend. He's even asking me, "Can I keep the son? You keep the daughter." I'm like, over my dead body, you know. So after I then decided, no, I'm not gonna let this guy keep my. He doesn't even know how to pay a single cent to a bond. There's no way I'm gonna let this guy keep the house. I'm like, no, bro, you're not keeping the house. It's like, okay, I'm not keeping the house. Sell everything. OLX, sell everything. I want the Crown Lioness. I want everything. Like he just became crazy. That time, I lost everything. I don't even have a car. He took the car away from me, right? I'm driving my father's Ford Focus. That car that I'm driving doesn't even have wipers. That guy saw me driving that car once. He's like, please add that on the settlement agreement. I want that for...
I want that non-wiper Ford Focus.
Hey, I didn't know it was my father's car. Like, my brother, are you that greedy?
No, he had an issue with money. And
no, yeah, he really wanted to check out and get a lot of money. But I made sure that, you know what, I dig a hole somewhere.
But then were you surprised though, if he was acting like that in the marriage, as far as money is concerned, did you really think that you going out of the marriage, he's just going to be that humbled person? Because now we're talking about money still here.
I felt like I deserved a little bit of not respect but honor for pouring my heart into trying to get him out of the shit that I found him in.
Hey, bruh.
You know, I felt like just for that, Yahori, there's nobody in your entire lifetime who has ever tried to help you get out of that. I felt like I didn't deserve to keep everything. I deserved to say, you know what, I acknowledge the fact that at least you tried. Not for you to say, listen, bring everything here. It's like a spit in my face. So that for me, because I think when the whole divorce thing started in 2021, I was one of those people that would really cover up my things, right? I didn't want to speak about my divorce until I was walking in a passage at work and I had a voice note which he sent to another lady telling her about how much of a bossy, terrible person I am and what, like a lot of things, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, so this guy is busy telling people things so that by the time the divorce things come out, I would be the villain, you know. And you know when you are walking and people be like, yeah, you know, you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, so we are doing like that now. It's fine. Let me, by that time I had just made it to TikTok Rising Voices and we were doing weekly. This week you must do this type of content this week. I was like, listen, guys, I'm getting divorced. I'm going to take you through my divorce proceedings. So from day one of me going to court, maintenance, everything, I was literally just sharing the experience up until the last day.
Is that how you boom? Is it to boom? Like how you broke through on TikTok?
No. But a lot of people think that,
Yeah.
but I'm comfortable with them assuming that. You know, assumption is a female dog, by the way.
Yeah.
By the time I made it to Rising Voices, I had 200,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
So the divorce found me I used to do a lot of gospel content. If you go all the way back, hey, if I minister my sister, you will roll on the floor here.
Oh, wow.
It's just that now I'm a rebel. Ne?
Yeah.
But that's the type of content that I used to post on TikTok that got me to 200,000+ followers. So the divorce, for some people, it was a matter of following my story after trying to see the transition from being a deaconess to being a divorcee. Divorce adolescence is coming. This is coming. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but then for those who only hopped on like along the way, they thought that divorce made me famous, of which I'm okay with them just assuming that. Yeah.
So now, why did you also go to maintenance? Doesn't the divorce settlement talk about the kids as well and stuff?
The thing is, immediately when he moved out of the house, I'm one of, promise, now I'm wired somehow. I'm one of those people that I will never punish my kids by them not having a relationship with their father or their father side of the family, no matter how much they've hurt me, because I've had a relationship with my dad and I know how it's like to have a relationship with a dad, right? So this guy would come and fetch the kids to take them to McDonald's, but he has not given me money for maintenance, and he said, fire the helper. The reason why he said fire the helper is so that I can be crippled, because he knew that by then, I didn't start today this whole thing of me always being on the road traveling. Because of the fashion business, I used to travel a lot. I'm always on the road. So he's like, okay, take the car, fire the helper. We will exchange with kids. Which man is going to stay with kids the whole weekend?
The whole weekend.
You understand what I'm saying? So I literally had to make means to keep the helper and also get my dad to borrow me his car. I was like, I'll buy a new car when I'm done with the whole divorce thing. But literally just the whole thing was supposed to just finish me off.
So for what, Mara,
the fact that, promise, at some point I used to tell myself that, that's how I viewed it, that I think it's better for a spouse to pass away than for you guys to go through a divorce. Because when they say till death do us part, you literally die at that divorce court. Because the side of your partner that you see, you will not know the person. The person you get married to is not the person you get divorced to. In as much as when a marriage is beautiful, you focus on the positive things, right?
Yes.
But there are things which are bad, which are happening, which you say, this is nothing, we can overcome
nothing,
this.
yes.
So during the divorce, even though there are nice things which are happening, you will always focus on the bad things to say, I'm going to kill this woman. I'm going to make sure I leave her with nothing.
You were shocked. Were you shocked in the divorce? So, is this my humble man?
Who's this man? I didn't know who that man was.
Sure.
I didn't know who that man was. And to top it all off, he would then come, park his car here. I'm here to fetch my kids. My kids go out there running. They love their father, And I would let them. And I would not sleep. And I'll be asking myself, are my kids going to come back alive? But literally because me depriving him of having him and his family, depriving him of having a relationship with the kids, I was not going to only be hurting him, but I was going to be hurting my own kids.
I think the first people to hurt is the kids.
Yes.
Because they are old. Unaldi parents, it's your own children that would get hurt.
So I didn't want to deprive my kids of that. Yeah.
So why would you be scared that he would kill did you think that he was going to spite you with the kids or what?
When you get to see a side of somebody that you didn't even know exist, you don't even know what to expect next.
Yeah,
I was literally just scared for my kids to say, what if he drinks poison and poisons the kids? I was just scared, because I couldn't trust it. By that time, I started losing a lot of people in my life. And obviously because I'm staying in a town where it's mostly his people. I started losing those people because obviously they're going to side with him. So I didn't even know who to trust anymore. But the one thing that used to comfort me, this is why I love my ex-sister-in-law so much. I love that woman. I posted her the other day. Yes. When my kids come back from visiting her, because usually the dad is busy, and he works shifts.
They'll go to Rakhadi.
So they would go to Rakhadi. When my kids come back, the younger one, she's 5. She's like me. She talks. She's like, Mama, I have 3 mothers. How? Where? Nana? Count them. 1, Mama Perseverance.
Yes.
2, Rakhadi Paulina. 3, Grandmammy from Venda. I love the fact that the love that my stepmother shows me, it doesn't even show that she's not my real mother. The love that the auntie shows them, it doesn't even show that we are not getting along.
Wow. It's a village.
So that's what gave me the comfort to say I trust these people with my kids, meaning that even if an accident happens with my kids when I'm not there, I know it was not intentional.
It was not intentional.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So where are you guys now? Just in wrapping up, where are you guys now with your husband? As far as with your ex-husband. Did I say husband? Sorry. Boo. Where are you guys now in terms of co-parenting?
To be honest with you, I think this is one of the reasons why, I was actually thinking when people were saying, this guy must come and tell his side of the story. I'm like, promise you guy, because you the ex-husband to come and tell the side of the story.
I'm catching straight. Yo.
I was like, I wish you could call him so that you can have a conversation with him. But unfortunately,
you know what? I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't do it to any other person if I didn't see the need to.
Okay. So no, let's not even go there, my sister. But anyway, the reason why I was saying that was because my ex-husband is never gonna share his story with anybody.
Yeah.
The reason why he's not gonna share his story with anybody is because I'm literally still sitting on top of hot coal, because of him.
Still.
Yeah, and I cover up a lot.
Yeah.
So literally what I've already shared, it's not really me vilifying him. It's just me being open and honest about my experience in marriage. The one thing that I was texting him, I was frustrated the other day when I was texting him. I'm like, dude, listen, I got divorced so that I can be financially liberated from you, but I'm still struggling, because with our kids, he takes care of the boy, I take care of the girl financially. Okay. So he pays school fees for the boy, I pay school fees for the girl. That brother has not been paying school fees since 2021, like since the divorce. He has not been paying school fees.
Of the boy?
Hey.
Were you checking or unobona statement?
The thing is, because checking and micromanaging him triggers me, because that's what I've been doing my entire marital life. I was like, let him do his thing, right? Hey. So the thing that actually triggered me that day I cried, was me getting an SMS. I'm a very fussy person when it comes to finances, promise. I've always been like that. I get a notification from TransUnion saying, your account has been handed over. I'm like, what account? May I pay school fees in January for the whole year? They're like, your son's account. Then I call them, I'm like, guys, my ex-husband is the one who's paying school fees. They're like, okay, listen, according to the Scholars Act, we don't give a damn who's supposed to pay, but the two of you are the parents to this child, so the two of you are liable to pay the school fees. You can go to the maintenance court or wherever if you want, but we are going to list the both of you. So when I now have a conversation with me, it's taking me back to my marital life, to say to him, my brother, you have not been paying. What have you been doing? You've not been paying school fees the whole year. What have you been doing? Literally, he's one of those guys that now my ex-husband loves his kids. He would run from work to school to go give my son lunch bar and prime, but he's not gonna pay school fees.
Yeah,
like is the boy gonna study using prime? And obviously with those type of things, I would not want my kids to see that, listen, your dad is failing in this regard, because the things, they think that dad has money and that is their hero. I'm like, it's fine, let him be a hero
because
until
he buy the munani and all those nice things.
So I was saying to him the other day, dude, listen, I'm struggling with you. Even this year, you didn't pay school fees. I literally have to run around making payment arrangements the same way that I used to do when we were married.
Yeah.
I don't want to live this life anymore. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. Please be patient. He's sorry. No, he's sorry until infinity and beyond. My friend always tells me, like, oh, that man. That man who better TKO. I'm sorry. So that's why I'm saying, or even if he was to sit down the way people want, he knows that a lot of the things that he's still doing, I'm still covering up.
Yeah.
His family would always tell me, my sister, go to God. Yeah. But overall, besides that, very, very kind guy.
Very kind guy.
But when you'll say I'm lying if you meet that guy. Yeah.
And then now, just to final question about marriage, where you are in terms of marriage, because I feel like that's why I did not want to go into the content that you put out there, because I just want a different side of you, and for different people to relate with you. So now about marriage, where are you regarding marriage altogether?
What do you mean?
Like getting married in future. Do you still believe in getting married? In going into marriage, what kind of marriage? Like, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? Are you gonna check over it? Do you have money? Do you take care of what?
Promise, I never stopped believing in marriage.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that mine didn't work out because of certain characters that could not change. If that character could have changed, I would have never fallen out of love with that man. I think the reason why I fell out of love is because I literally felt like I was dealing with a bottle of water. Why am I loving this bottle of water? I literally needed to take my love and bring it back to me. I grew up from a family of love. Now my family members, people are married.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad and my stepmom, they're married. I believe in marriage. I still do believe in marriage, and I am gonna get married to a very emotionally intelligent man.
Oh, are you talking about your current boyfriend? Pressure.
The thing is, I know my type, right? And I know that because of the type of content that I create, I filter out a lot of junk. Because so many people say to me, who's going to marry you when you have this attitude? There are men who actually understand me for who I am.
Yeah.
And I would rather deal with 5 people who are top tier than deal with 100 junk where I have to be kissing 1 million frogs.
Yes.
I'd rather not do that.
Yes.
And I can, you know, a man who is emotionally intelligent, because I have done the work on myself to be what I am now.
Yeah.
I feel like if I sit with a man like this, 10 minutes is enough for me to know whether I can do this or not. You understand what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that the person that I'm with right now, it's going to lead to marriage.
Yeah.
But I am compatible with the person that I am right now in terms of emotional intelligence and just growth.
Yeah.
And understanding one another.
Yeah.
In as much as my grandmother doesn't believe in getting married again,
What does she say?
She says I must get back together with my ex-husband.
That's what the Bible says.
And him wanting us to do love back is not helping at all. But unfortunately, it's not gonna work. Me, I found my type now.
Hey, I'm thinking, you guys. I think this.
My type, ne? I don't want a guy who has a lot of money. Promise.
Yeah.
I was saying on our way here that I would rather have a guy who can afford his own meal than I'll afford mine. Then we talk about love only. Yeah. If a guy gives me money, my guy full tank. It's his thing. Don't worry, I got this. It's his thing.
Yeah.
But even if he doesn't do that, I don't have high expectations of him taking care of me financially. My dad made sure that he instills that thing. I'm the only man who owes you financial stability. After me, you stand on your own feet. And I still take that with me. But at the same time, nobody's son is coming to eat my 2 cents with me.
Hey,
No.
You see, I always say that, and that's why when I speak about cheating and stuff, I'm like, there's more. Like there are, for me personally, like finances, I would pack my bags. Like, you see, cheating, I can deal with it or whatever.
Yeah.
You see, finances, and I have not shared because nobody has ever asked me, what can break you? You see, finances,
it's a big but a lot of relationships that come to an end, in as much as there's infidelities and whatever, finances play a big role.
Financial what?
Hey.
What is that?
Understand that? So finances play a big role, whether we like it or not, whether people will say we rata chelete too much, but at the end of the day, finances drive relationships.
A lot. And especially when you're a woman and then this man is leading you.
Yes.
And then financially, Jay is just leading me astray. There's no assurance. There is no assurance for my kids. Yes, you can do whatever. But, hey, Bo, tomorrow we'll be sleeping outside because the house is not paid and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You see, finances for me, that's why I was like, guys, there's a lot to marriage that can break my marriage than all the other things.
Yeah.
And finances is one of them.
Finances is a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah.
All the other ones we can overcome. But as for me, I'm not willing to settle with, besides being financially stable, because honestly speaking, I feel like I can still be with somebody who has nothing, but is emotionally intelligent and is building and working on something. I'm not one to, I think that's because of how I was raised to say, my dad says, listen, you do your own thing.
Yeah.
I can still be with somebody who is still trying. I can see that, okay, they're onto something, but I will never allow myself to be in a position where somebody is hurting me and is inconveniencing me. The other day I was laughing with a friend of mine and I was saying, listen, I'm left with 500. We're making a joke about it. I'm left with 500 in my bank account. When we need to get to Villa Villa, right? We know that 500 is going to get us to Villa Villa, to Polokwane. If I was still married, I was going to be shocked when I get to the till and the 0 in there.
He was going to take it.
I get it. That's how we are married, Mus.
You had a joint what?
No, I didn't have that.
But then he had access to.
Now my guy used to know I'm sure even now he still knows my ID number by heart because he's the one who's doing them on my behalf.
Right.
No, that's just who he is. And it was wrong for me to begin with to even want to change who he is.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I should have just minded. I had no business getting married to that guy, but otherwise, for two beautiful kids, I thank God for them.
Yes. This was such a beautiful and light-hearted conversation. And thank you so much for making time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Anyway, guys, please, if you want to be on my podcast, I always forget and you guys flood my DMs. If you want to be on my podcast, I've created a Gmail account, which is ownnarrativepodcast@gmail.com. I'll link it below. Please send me your messages, send me your stories, and then leave your WhatsApp number as well. I'll try and get to that maybe in the new year. I have to get like people that help me. But Madam Speaker, about PR, what, and then I'm just here with a WhatsApp full of messages, DMs flooding. Guys, I need to sort out my life. So next year, I'm really hoping I do have a team, and it's love and light from me. Thank you.